ECassessment ECassessment Tutorial. Tutorial number 52. What is ECassessment? ECassessment is a software tool developed by ECassessment to perform feasibility studies for projects. It helps not only to decide whether a project is practical, profitable, and worth pursuing, but also acting as a digital twin of an active power plant. Why is feasibility testing important? Feasibility testing evaluates solar integration viability, optimizes system sizing, and estimates project success before initiation. Prevent wasting money on unsuccessful ideas. To gain access to ECassessment, you need an account with us. To get your account, contact ECassessment sales via our email address sales@encome.com. How to activate the ECassessment account access. Your account login credentials will be sent to your email from ECassessment. Type the login web page address www.encome.online. Once the page has fully loaded, click on the drop-down menu and select the ECassessment product from the list. And continue. How ECassessment works. After logging in, you will be taken to the ECassessment account page, where you can start creating your first site for feasibility study. To begin, click on the New Site option. Then, fill in the required details to complete your site registration. Open Google Map and copy the coordinates of your location. Then, enter these coordinates into latitude and altitude. This will allow you to clearly visualize your site on the map within your account. To complete the registration, proceed to user identification. Here, enter your username and the password provided in your email. Once the registration is complete, refresh the page and log in again. Your registered site will be visible. Data input and ECassessment test. You can perform a feasibility test using existing datasets stored in the ECassessment EC Cloud. Alternatively, you can upload your own dataset from a file to run the test. How to use EC Cloud data instead of own dataset. You can extract datasets from any ECPV model registered in the ECassessment EC Cloud. In order to extract data from EC Cloud, the ECassessment tool has to be connected to the registered site. How to connect ECassessment to EC Cloud data from existing site. Under the data category on the main page, select the ECPV model type. Enter its unique identifier, MAC address, along with the site's admin credentials, then click Save. Now your assessment tool has the access to your EC Cloud data. How to use a own data file. To perform a feasibility test with your own data, you can upload a data set from a file. Make sure your file follows the column structure provided in our user guide. If need help with the file structure, visit the ECassessment website and navigate to the Resources section. Find the ECassessment page and open the user manual. The manual provides detailed instructions on how to organize your CSV file and ensure it works properly in ECassessment. After preparing your dataset with all data, make sure with the first column contains the mandatory data and the rest will be empty. If you choose to use the Load Data Only option, your file should look similar to this format. Here you will enter only load values next to the year and time. How to upload a data set file. From the main page, choose your registered site. Then, click on the Data option. In the File section, configure the file attributes before uploading. Choose the correct file separator, such as comma or semicolon, depending on your data set. Next, select the appropriate timestamp format to ensure it matches the format in your file. In the Set File Content section, adjust the settings based on your file type. If your file is a load data only, select No for all. For full data set files, make sure all selections are set to Yes. Selecting the correct options is essential for proper analysis. Then drag and drop your file. Once the file is uploaded, the system will check the data format. If everything is correct, a notification will appear confirming a successful upload. Next, click the control page. This page allows you to set up the ECPV controller for your assessment. Use the drop-down menu at the top to navigate between different settings categories. As this tutorial does not cover all available settings, please consult the ECPV user manual for detailed guidance. General settings allow you to configure currency, volume, and mass unit settings. Under the PV settings, configure all PV-related parameters. The next category is ESS settings, where you configure the energy storage system parameters to match the controller setup. ESS settings include rated data, SOC limits, dispatch limits, charging and discharging modes for PV, grid, and genset, backup settings, and DoD threshold parameters, which all need to be configured correctly. Under genset settings, you configure parameters related to the generator plant. If genset management is set to disabled, the assessment uses the rated genset capacity directly from the data set, which must be available. If genset load start-stop set to non-sync, the system selects a single best-suited genset based on load conditions and start-stop rules. If set to sync SR, the system selects multiple gensets as required, based on load demand and operating conditions. Next, configure the grid settings. If the grid price method is set to spot price or tariffs, you must select the corresponding spot price area. Disabled grid price method has no effect on the spot price setting. Finally, configure the EC-Opti settings. For detailed guidance, refer to the EC-Opti tutorial number 50 or user manual, then save your settings. Open the assessment pages where the assessment is performed. Select EC Cloud Data Set or File Upload option before starting. Here in this guide, File Upload option being selected for demonstration. Next, set the data set time zone. This is required when irradiance or temperature modeling is used in the assessment. Set irradiance and temperature conditions using either data set values or available models for GHI, POA, temperature, and BOM. PV generating capacity can be taken from the data set or calculated using irradiance and temperature settings. If calculated is selected, the capacity is computed based on the irradiance and temperature conditions set up. The supply mode can be selected as data set based operation, genset mode, grid mode, or off mode. Next, configure hourly tariffs using import and export tariff values across the full day. Using tariff depends on the need. Clear assessment data removes previous assessment data if applicable. Configure the estimator parameters and define the prediction window in days. Select the assessment period in your data set to continue. Click the Assess button to start the assessment. The system will process the data and generate the report shortly. To review the report, go to the main page, select the relevant category, and use the filter to view your results. Executive, PV, ESS, Genset, and Grid reports are generated and can be reviewed under each category. Thank you for watching the video. This video presented by Nkumi. For more information, please visit our website www.mcomb.com.